This is Off the Break Podcast, presented by Silver Screen Insider.
Welcome to Off the Break Podcast, your podcast dedicated to current movie theater news, operations, and insights from the people that book the movies. I'm Cody, and with me are Kyle and Ken.
Hey, you did the intro again.
I did. I looked at everybody. I was like, oh, nobody's doing this? Okay, I'm doing this.
Pulling up a classic.
Yeah.
An oldie but a goodie.
It's just like riding a bike.
It is.
Except for that chuckle right in the middle.
Oh. Well, welcome back, everybody.
I know. We had awesome weekend. Best weekend so far.
So good.
Yeah.
Blew away my expectations.
Nice.
It was crazy.
Nice. Yeah. Did you guys see the film?
Yes.
Absolutely not.
Absolutely not.
You would have loved it, Ken.
We were busy working on a kitchen.
The film she's referring to is Venom, Let There Be Carnage. Which
is there any other film, Kyle?
Yeah.
Just making sure someone could be like, No Time to Die? Are we talking about that?
Get out of town.
No.
We're not there yet.
All right, not there yet.
So I wasn't a part of last week's podcast. What were your hot takes? Who thought it was going to open high and who got the closest?
I think that we were just expecting a good turnout.
Nobody was playing Sony in the rover position in beer league softball. Nobody was like, $30 million opening would be great.
I know. Where was I?
Sony
to be
reported.
Conservative.
Yeah, Sony reported that at the beginning of the very end of the week. Expect a $30 million opening. They got $11 million Thursday night.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So that would mean unless Christopher Nolan actually did set off that atomic bomb in the new movie he's trying to make. They were gonna make that plus a lot more.
I just wasn't expecting the a lot more part. I was just expecting, hopefully, to get to what first Venom did.
I know. I was legitimately shocked by the 90 million.
Yeah.
Like that. I mean, I gave it plenty of screens. Thank goodness that
it helped.
We were prepared for it to be big, but man, I mean, there were some frazzled people on Monday because they were just, for the first time, overworked on a weekend. It was awesome.
Yeah, there was no closing early last weekend.
No shows.
Yeah.
But that's terrific, though. This has been what we were hoping to have, if not more so, to the start of October, and with this big turnout from Venom, Let There Be Carnage, doing better than the first one in a pandemic and being the second PG-13 opening in October ever to gross as high as it did. Like first being Joker, obviously, but
Joker was ours. So
It
was Venom was the last
was it?
one.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Venom was the last one.
So that's just in general then, not just PG-13.
And this is the second highest opening for an October title ever. So the first one, it still remains Joker, but Joker only did like 96 million, I think.
It was close.
It was super close.
And then number 3 is the remake of Halloween that came out in 2018.
Yeah.
Right, yeah.
So we've got October. I mean, the hot take was like, we are going to have the biggest October we've ever had.
Yep.
Especially after Shang-Chi hit and brought some audiences back. But I will be shocked if we don't do it.
Yeah, I'm a little concerned about Halloween next week because of it being day and date on Peacock. Like that, I think hurts it quite a bit on it. But we'll see. I mean, we do have Venom holding over, and we do have Bond opening this week, and Bond did 6.3 million Thursday night early shows last night, and that was, the highest Bond early show count ever.
Yeah.
It beat Spectre, it beat Skyfall, best Bond. So we're looking at maybe the highest Bond opening weekend this weekend.
Which, again, that's insane.
Yeah, because there's just this pervasive narrative that the virus is still hurting, theaters and hurting businesses and stuff, but we're just not seeing that right now. It has changed it. Don't get me wrong. I'm not saying that the industry isn't changed, that movie going isn't changed, that even the grosses aren't. I mean, they're down overall from previous years. We're seeing a transition, but when the film is really good and it's theater exclusive, like what we're seeing here, it's back,
a rocket
baby.
ship. Yeah.
It's awesome.
Yeah. You just can't help it but love when, good things are happening at a time when, we were hoping for it to happen. So.
Right. We need it. So, Kyle, you saw Venom. What'd you think?
I would say it's better than the first one. because with the first one, there was just such...
For Kyle, it was a low bar to cross.
Yes, thank you for emphasizing that. It's a very low bar for me heading into this, because I did not like the first Venom. Just because it was tonally uneven. Like, on the one hand, it felt like, you know, a studio-produced superhero movie that's supposed to be, you know, dark and serious. But on the other hand, Tom Hardy is jumping in lobster tanks, you know, like there was
this great article I actually read about that
Yeah.
Tom Hardy and the director were making two completely different movies.
Oh, absolutely.
So there was, well, I mean, I thought that, but there was actually this article that Tom Hardy was interviewed in where he was making a movie about a broken man.
Yes.
Like, the man is broken. He has nowhere to go. He feels like a shell of himself. Mm-hmm. And the director was making a superhero movie.
He was doing his job.
Well, yes and no. I mean, you hire Tom Hardy. Tom Hardy is not a superhero yet. I mean, he is a dramatic actor. Even in Batman, he's a dramatic actor.
Yeah.
So you hire Tom Hardy because you want him to act. Mm-hmm. You don't hire him like Henry Cavill because you want him to stand there and have abs.
Sure. It helps, but
he doesn't hurt that by any means.
I'm just glad that only proves that there was stuff going on behind the scenes to where just it became, to me, not a complete mess of a movie, but it just became a movie that clearly there was just different visions going on. But
I don't know what you're talking about. It was awesome. I still liked it. Even Jenny Slate.
I do wonder,
being the scientist in it.
Quote,
I still enjoyed it.
Like a head scientist, not just a scientist. She was like
researcher.
She was like the Tom Hardy of scientists.
Out of everything to suspend disbelief, that was the hardest to do. I'll just say it that way. But I think here, this one knows what it's supposed to be because it leans into what people love so much about the first movie, that weird, over-the-top, kind of campiness, tongue-in-cheek thing that Tom Hardy was doing throughout. And they took out the director of the previous movie and brought in Andy Serkis. And clearly Andy Serkis was in on the joke with Tom Hardy this time. He was like, we're going to stick in this realm more. We're going to have it be a really quick-paced movie. It's going to have all the beats to it, but we're going to have, you know, some life and some energy into it. So
and Woody Harrelson, come on, he has got to be phenomenal in that.
He was good, I thought. He just was a good pairing between or off of Tom Hardy because they were both trying to chew up the scenery so much. So it was just fun to watch that over like actually listening to whatever gobbledygook they were saying, you know, just whatever generic stuff that are in these movies.
Where you needed the story in the first one. This one is like, oh, okay, we've got two good actors and so much CGI.
Action, exactly. And I actually thought the CGI was better here than the first one, and I feel like that's because Andy Serkis understands CGI due to his background as an actor who does CGI characters, and probably a bit on the directing side as well, because he's done that before. I think what it just comes down to is that these movies just aren't for me. Like, I still didn't walk away having a good time with it, although I do think it is better than the first one. It fixes the mistakes.
Good. I can't wait to see it. We just have had so many projects that I hope it sticks around long in theaters so that I'm having a chance to see it.
I'm very curious about the drop-off it could have with No Time to Die. Or I wonder if maybe No Time to Die could be sold out and then Venom's the go-to, kind of like with Free Guy and being that of Shang-Chi.
Yeah, so. I think for sure. As far as the upcoming weekend with Bond, I am concerned because normally on a Venom, we'd see quite a big drop-off. They are very front-loaded. Yeah. And I would not be surprised just on a normal weekend, any other time, when you didn't have an A title like Bond behind it, like a 60% drop-off. Like, that would not be shocking to me.
No.
If it's anything higher than that, then I think that that's because of Bond. Now, Bond does play older, but it is PG-13. So I don't know. I don't know how that's gonna hurt it. You do get a lot more Venom showtimes than Bond's, so
I think these are going to
a lot of variables.
These are going to feed each other. Yeah. One of these two movies is going to bring in the audience that we're partially missing.
Right.
Like one of these two, whether it's, I mean, you have James Bond, you have a Marvel film. You can't ask for too much more than that in 2 weeks in a row. So there's going to be people that go in and see crowds going to Venom or see crowds going to Bond, and it causes them to purchase a ticket for that. This is going to be, you know, this is good, and the drop off it could be substantial, but from 90 million, they can drop off as far as they want.
Right.
That money
Yeah.
went to theaters only.
Yep.
Yeah, at a certain point, it'll be okay.
And Bond will be great too, because that money is going to theaters only right now.
Yeah.
And that'll be a big thing for theaters. I mean, 2 back-to-back titles like this is awesome. I really wish Sony would have stuck with their 9/24 date. We could have used the big opening and then had one more big week before Bond. It just wouldn't have hurt things. It would have been nice on PLFs to give them 2 weeks.
Yeah, I wonder if they're kind of kicking themselves about it.
We'll see on Monday.
Because really,
Yeah.
Dear Evan Hansen wasn't anything. So 9/24
No.
would have been awesome to have
No.
a big Venom. But I'm not complaining. I think October is going to be great. And
It's the new summer, apparently.
Cody watched the other monster sequel that came out
I
last
did.
weekend.
Oh,
I
yeah?
I watched a little bit of Addams Family 2. I hate to say it, but we were up at our cabin working on the kitchen, and we were unable. There's no theaters really around to go to see this, so we did rent it for the kids, and the animation quality is still there. The jokes are all still there. I personally like the first one a little bit more, but this one wasn't bad, and the boys seemed to like it, so that was good.
I guess that's what matters.
Just
Yeah.
a
Yeah.
solid PG title.
Yep.
We would have loved to not have the streaming component, because that gross could have been double easily.
Yeah,
I was
it was definitely
surprised.
hurt.
I was surprised by it grossing, 16 million despite day and date?
Yeah,
I thought for sure it might have been a bit
It's-
lower.
it
it's
could.
better
I
than
really
Paw-
think it could have been a $20 million opening
Yeah.
with Venom's 90, and the whole box office would have been huge.
I mean,
but
Paw
Yeah.
Patrol did 13, and that was free.
yeah,
I mean, if you had Paramount Plus.
Oh, right.
When
yeah.
it came out, so this could have been, I mean, it would have been easily over 20 million.
Yeah.
I think 20 million was a low estimation if it
Right.
was just theaters only.
but not bad. I think what you're really going to see with this is, though, I think you can get the opening weekend, but because it's event-like, but yeah, I think you're going to see Addams drop off big time because of the rental.
Yeah. And Ron's Gone Ron will be coming out in 2 weeks anyway, so it
Yeah.
might have done that
And,
regardless.
and that'll be theater exclusive.
Yeah.
From Disney.
And it's Disney animated, so it'll be everywhere.
That's true.
Isn't it a leftover Fox title, though? It's not necessarily...
Oh, that's right. Yeah.
right, it's
it
a
is.
Fox one, so it's not your normal.
It's a Blue Sky, but
Right. But
it's
it looks
an animated
so good.
film promoted by Disney.
Yeah,
You've got toys.
it got the Disney brand stamp
got
on it now.
Toys and signs up at McDonald's. You've got,
Yeah,
it's
People will know of it.
it's everywhere.
right. As far as upcoming booking strategies, I'm desperately trying to fit it all in. What is shocking, what really came to realization this week was that Disney has so many films in the market. They're trying to keep Shang-Chi and Free Guy alive. They're going to open Last Duel next week. Then on the 22nd, they've got Ron. Then on the 29th, they've got
Antlers.
And then Searchlight.
right.
And Searchlight has moved up on an expansion, French Dispatch. And then on 11/5,
yeah.
they've got Eternals. And then luckily we get apparently a week with no Disney, or I guess 1 week,
No,
and then
So that's
week and a half.
vacation time.
And that's a Disney vacation time, and then we get Encanto. It's like, I can't fit all this. You could almost book only Disney in a complex. There's that much film. I've never
Yeah.
seen this much film from them.
No, I mean 2019 was Disney every 4 or 5 weeks.
Yeah.
One film, and that was when they owned Fox.
Yeah.
Yeah, but
They were in the
but now
process.
they're
They were in the process.
this
But it
is
was- but
now
I mean,
this
it was
is like, let's
every-
get all this Fox.
Every 4
Titles
or
out of
5
the door.
weeks, just methodical, and it was Toy Story into Lion King into, I mean, it just like, and these things were planned out years in advance, and now
Yeah.
it's just like
Throw it all in.
Shang-Chi made 70 million. Like, let's see what sticks.
So
Yeah.
after 2021, they're gonna have a meeting and be like, "We're never doing that again."
We don't have
Well,
we don't have any movies left.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, exactly. But they're gonna make sure to keep it that way.
I know. Yeah.
And it's just shocking because the priority placed on some of these titles that obviously are not A titles. I mean, I don't know
No,
if Disney's used to not having a title that people don't want to play.
it's been a
But
hot minute. Yeah.
Antlers with Kerry Russell.
Last Duel, I mean,
Hey,
it's
it at least has names and things
I guess
attached to
so.
it.
I guess so.
It's a Ridley Scott movie. with Ben Affleck, Adam Driver, and Matt
What was the
Damon.
last Ridley Scott movie?
It wasn't The Martian.
Was
What
it
in
Robin
between?
Hood?
Was it Prometheus? Did he
Yeah,
do that
I think
one?
he was involved with one of those. But
I just
yeah,
don't think
he's Ridley
the
Scott.
Did you guess
director.
Robin Hood?
Yeah,
No,
didn't
he did the Russell Crowe Robin
No,
Hood.
I know,
Yeah.
but that was
That was like 12 years
before.
ago.
That was 12
I don't know. Kent talks about it so much. It
Time
feels
has
like
so
yesterday.
good. Easily all-time top 5. I'm just throwing it out there.
But anyway,
Just saying.
I'm kind of leaning towards Cody on it. I mean, I probably will want to go see it, but I don't know. I just don't think, despite the star power helps, and the Ridley Scott name helps, but I think that's more.
Matt Damon has a mullet. I don't know how many people are like, I really want to see that Matt Damon in a mullet.
Yeah,
He has a giant,
I see
awesome
that
scar
too.
on his face.
Yeah.
Does he? I didn't even
He
notice.
has a huge
You
scar.
didn't know?
No, I honestly did not
Really?
even notice. No, had no idea.
Is it because you can't see past the mullet?
Apparently, you weren't
It
looking
could
on
be.
silverscreeninsider.com.
The mullet
Yeah.
was in front of it as he was trying to brush it away.
Even Ben Affleck has a weird, creepy bowl cut. Like, it's just, they're so off-putting visually that I'm like, I pass.
Yeah, Alien
It's just the
Covenant
matches don't make sense. Matt
Alien
Damon
Covenant
and-
was the last one, and then he's got 2 movies in a month.
Oh, that's right. I'm more excited for House of Gucci, and I think a lot of people
Yeah.
are more than the last duel.
I am so much
think.
more excited for House of Gucci.
Yeah.
So that's
Except
my,
for Ken, but
that's been my huge struggle, is trying to fit all that in. Plus, I mean, every title from the other studios are their priorities as well. So it's
Yeah.
oh, there it
is.
is.
It's like the biggest
It looks like
scar
a
on his
crack
face.
in his
It's not
face.
that big.
It's
I mean,
Kyle.
it looks big now,
it
but
goes, it goes from his lip to his ear.
and it's huge. Like, it splinters
in
out.
my defense, the picture is with him with a helmet, and the helmet covers up quite a bit of it. So
Oh my
Goes
gosh,
up
there.
like
Kyle.
that. Here you go, Kyle. We'll do the zoom in, the full face shot.
okay, well now there's a shadow there. That's not fair.
It looks like he got run over with a lawnmower face first.
Yeah.
But it's awesome.
It will be a good movie. It looks cool, but I don't know. I think it's just for certain demographics and not for
Right.
majority of audiences.
It's just hard because you know that there are some big titles in there, and then there are some lesser titles, and you get to a point where you're like, well, do I even play the lesser titles and take up a screen, or do I give more screen time to the bigger ones? Because it's like, what is going to make money on that screen? A second screen of, say, Eternals, or the second week of Antlers? And it's just it's really hard.
Yeah.
It's really what do you do? Because you want to be fair and you
in a
want to be
big complex,
equitable. Yeah.
It's the 4th screen of Eternals.
Right.
Is the 4th screen of Eternals going to make more than
Probably
second week
not.
of Antlers?
But now you get
But it's possible.
right. But you get down
not
to
a
these
stretch.
smaller complexes,
Yeah.
like 6s and 5s, and you cannot fit everything in. But you want to make sure all the studios are represented. I think that's paramount in it. And as much as they're pushing to say like, no, we're your better partner, it's still all of what have you done for me lately. So
yeah.
So it's been a huge, incredibly huge challenge, and we knew it was going to happen because you can't push back so much product into a few weeks at the end of the year and expect to get in everywhere. Like,
Yeah.
it's not very well thought out. It's not planned out. It's not coordinated. There's no maneuvering. It's just get it in.
Yeah. We all knew this was inevitable, but the studios for some reason didn't.
Yeah.
There was never this, there's always competition for dates. I mean, like we saw
Yeah.
when, what was it, moved off of Thanksgiving.
Top Gun. I
Top
was
Gun
just
moved
going to
off,
say.
and Ghostbusters moved there. Like, that was the date. And
I'm actually
It didn't-
really thankful. I hated it when it happened because Top Gun is the #1 film everybody's asked for over the pandemic.
Yeah.
But I'm so thankful it moved because Ghostbusters moved out of October, and now I have room for. I would not have had room given the films that are there still now to have played everything. Now I get to give Ghostbusters a proper Thanksgiving.
After Shang-Chi did what it did, you would have been choosing between
Gosh.
2 A+ titles
Yeah.
in
I don't know
Eternals
what-
and Ghostbusters on the
Yeah.
same weekend.
Which that would have been tough because Shang-Chi was good and Ghostbusters, it's a good movie.
Right.
That
It
was a-
screened so well at
It did.
CinemaCon that you know
Yeah.
it's there.
If Shang-Chi did that without any name actors, these are both $100 million openings.
You would think
but
so.
they had
Think
them
so.
together. I
Yeah.
mean, based on what we've got since.
No, so I'm saying it can definitely be a lot worse, and it was a lot worse, but it's still a struggle. There's still just way more product than screens.
Oh, sure. Yeah.
So that's what we're working with, and it really is just take it a week by week. What do I have this week? What did it do over the weekend? I can't plan ahead, and I have grown to really like being able to plan ahead, and you just can't. You just got to go week by week and not confirm anything till that Monday, and when you know you have a screen. And then to top it all off, I have several clients that I don't know if this is happening to any listeners or anything out there, but the equipment is now failing. I have so many people that are having equipment issues because they're those kind of first and second generation projectors, and it's been 10 years because it was in 2012 and now it's almost 2022, and they only have like a lifespan of about 10 years, and we're having issues with not getting parts and breaking down, and now I'm down screens when we've had like the most product we've ever had. And so I don't know if anybody else out there is struggling with that, but there's definitely, an issue. And then because of the labor shortages, they can't find mechanics. They can't find anybody to come fix the equipment. They can't get parts because of the shipping issues. It's just turning into a nightmare. It's like if your projector goes down, it goes down. The screen is almost dark from it. And that's going into the holidays when you need it the most coming out of that pandemic. It's just devastating on a certain level.
No kidding. You have to make a good impression, and some people might notice like when a screen is down or when certain things aren't working properly,
or you're not getting to open certain films because you don't have enough screens.
It's just a rough time for that stuff to happen, because we need to be convincing people that it's okay to go back to the theaters, that it's important. And
the last thing you want is to have it break down during a show and have to refund people. Like it's getting rough. I think we can probably make it through this year, but next year I would not be surprised to see a lot more breakdowns. And so people should probably start preparing for that. Not like rush out and go buy a new equipment because nobody can afford that right now. But just I would have somebody look at it while you're slow before a break happens.
Put something aside. Little by little.
Start planning for the inevitable on that, because I've had so many people caught off guard, and then they, like I said, can't get parts, can't get people to work on it. You got to come up with some contingencies on that, because we are getting to the end of those.
The one thing I haven't seen, now that you mentioned people not wanting to go back to the theaters, since Shang-Chi came out, we haven't seen one of those articles where like this % of people wants to go back to the theaters.
I have.
Have you?
Yeah.
But they're not as prominent. It doesn't seem like.
It's in the context of the older demographic, because they are really the older upscale film demographic, the art house type. They are not returning.
Yeah, but they're way closer to death than the general audience. So.
I think that's an issue, and I just think they're more of a demographic with means. They've probably during the pandemic invested in home theater systems, and they do have the ability to stream and pay extra for it in home. So they're just there's not the need to go out as much, because they can have Uber Eats deliver their favorite high-end restaurant and then have their home theater. I think that one's going to take a lot longer to come back. And it's going to really be so dependent on the films. I
mean, it's also hard to make those types of articles of like, movie going is down or movie going is up, when there's evidence that shows that people did come back, and lots of them.
For the last 100 years, it's always been about the content. It's never really about what the theater is or what the technology is. It really is about the content.
And now the cable newses of the world and the internet news of the world doesn't get a shit on the theater industry for once.
Right. For 1 week, we get a reprieve.
We're not being kicked while we're down, guys.
Like all of a sudden they don't know what to do. They're like, we have to write the standard article for the last 50 years. Movie opens to 50 plus million.
Boring.
Or,
no
Or
excitement.
like Deadline, Venom licks the box office competition.
That's a good one. Was
that an actual headline?
No, I don't know, but you can write these.
I wish I thought of that.
Well, speaking of things theaters can do, there was a super interesting article in the Wall Street Journal this last week about a theater in Michigan who attempted to change up their ticket pricing. And their idea was to have a higher ticket. I think it was $25, but it included unlimited concessions. And it was an experiment. This is a time the industry is changing. It's a good time to experiment with some of these ideas we've always thought about doing. Now is the time to try them out. If the studios can experiment with streaming, theaters should be able to experiment with pricing and other models. So this gentleman, John Goldstein, who has a small circuit out of Michigan, attempted to, in one of his locations, to do this unlimited concessions pricing, and it didn't go great. It was not a huge success. He did run into some issues, but I found that the article, it was awesome that he was transparent, that he, even talked about it. Wall Street Journal picked it up. It was interesting that they even talked about this, but one of the big issues he ran in with doing this was most people buy their tickets online. I don't know of very many people that just show up to the theater anymore without having bought their ticket ahead of time or online, so they could pick seats and things like that. And when you are looking online, he had competitors in the area, and when you are looking at the ticket prices, his was significantly more, but the theater was the same quality theater as what you were getting. You weren't getting like super high-end dining or really awesome seats, or
it wasn't a 14
or VIP treatments.
Yeah,
there was no preferred large format screen. There was none of the normal upcharges, and so a lot of people were turned off because it's really hard online to say, hey, that $25 price includes all your concessions. They're just looking at ticket prices being like, whoa, what's going on here?
Yeah.
So that was a huge hurdle for him. I think another one was just in the general concept of who really was asking for unlimited concessions, because it was per ticket. It wasn't like you could go as the dad and get the unlimited concessions ticket and then get it for everybody.
Yeah, not a family plan.
Yeah, everybody got the unlimited concessions ticket. So it was just, you weren't really saving anything anywhere. And nobody, I don't think, was asking for that.
At some point, you're going to have 2 teenage boys, and we're going to be begging for this.
Maybe. It's not what he found. So I don't know. I don't think there's anything wrong with being like, this is your limit. But again, I have little boys. I'm not at the big boy stage
you
yet.
should tell them no all the time. Or not.
I do.
I was just so surprised when you came to me and you were like, so the Wall Street Journal wrote about a small movie theater, and I was like, they did what now? But reading of it, it was really cool to see this guy be transparent and to use the Wall Street Journal as sort of a platform to talk about the trials and errors that he's doing, because he's like the rest of the other movie theaters. Like, they're seeing, despite some good grosses happening, there's still a decline in movie going, and you have to find ways to convince them to come back, and sometimes you think out of the box. And while I give him props for doing so, I'm kind of with you, Cody, that, I mean, as much as, people do spend money on concessions, it's not necessarily like they're wanting so many concessions. They're not going back for, so much candy or so many nachos. It's just not that type of food. And I don't even know if he even tried, having the bar food or the dine-in type food, if that would have helped anyway. Like I think when people go to the movie theaters, they only want a portion of something, but they're not really wanting to spend so much money even to have any sort of unlimited amount of
unless
food.
it came with unlimited booze.
Maybe.
Like beers.
Yeah.
Like
just buckets of beers.
I was going to say, like, ask any restaurant who served brunch with unlimited mimosas how that goes.
Yeah.
So well. And it's not a buffet. Like, you're not going thinking like, I'm going to have unlimited choices and unlimited amounts. And
how does that work? Do you have to get up during the movie to get more?
You just keep going back in and out.
Yeah. And everybody knows what you're doing.
Yeah.
Like, nobody's like, that guy's going to the bathroom.
There's a guy with so much stuff. Oh, he's doing what I'm doing.
Or do you get to just grab unlimited at the beginning? Is this like an Olive Garden Unlimited or a not Long John Silver's Red Lobster Unlimited?
Yeah.
Where you have to finish it before they bring it out. Olive Garden, they just keep bringing you stuff.
Yeah, they just keep forcing it at you.
That's
they
right.
throw it at you. You have to take it.
Eat some more pasta, fatty. And I'm like, yes, please.
I did think it was interesting how he got the studios to be on board with this experiment. Now he did mention in the article that he got lower terms, but he's getting lower terms on a higher ticket price. He's not getting lower terms on an $8 ticket price. He's getting it on that $25 ticket price. So I'm not sure. I think the studios went along with it, but I think that they made out in the end. They got even a lower term on a higher ticket price works better.
I don't see a case where they're really sweating about this so much. I mean, I think it's a little bit rare that studios would actually like accept change. You know what I mean?
Shockingly rare.
Yeah, exactly. But I think in this situation, they kind of saw that and were like, well,
we're willing
still...
to experiment because I'm sure they would like to see higher ticket prices.
This is 30 seconds aside on high heat rare.
Yeah.
Okay, this is as rare as it gets.
I used the term rare loosely on that one.
Yeah.
No, this is one of the few times I've ever heard of this.
Yeah.
Happening where it's like,
right.
Oh, a film coming to try it, especially certain ones that were involved in that.
Not every studio did it. Like Paramount, they said in the article, would not do this pricing scheme. They wouldn't even experiment. I don't know if they had anything. I'm not sure when he did it. He didn't say what films were playing. Mm-hmm. He did say it was gross driven. That people depended on what film was out there. So it was just interesting article with results that weren't great, but that, hey, now we know and we can try other experiments. I'm still of the believer that you have to create movies as an event and that you have to have a really luxurious like auditorium with fittings, really luxurious seats, because you're competing with people's living rooms. You have to have great food. I think everybody needs to up the concessions more than just popcorn and sodas and candies now. I mean, people are expecting more. Yeah,
but that doesn't mean they want unlimited of it.
Right. And then I think
they can get that at home.
I think introducing alcohol in areas that it makes sense is a huge, because you're just trying to give people that dining out, event like experience with entertainment and attached to it.
Yeah, not only do they want...
Did you just shimmy a little when you said entertainment? like
give them a show.
A little dancing.
Yeah, I mean, they want the content to be great, but also the experience to match that.
Yep. And when you do those things, you get a different type of customer, and you get a customer more willing to spend, has more means to spend. I was concerned with the unlimited concessions that you're trying to appeal to a customer that wants something for nothing, that kind of mentality, and they're not going to pay $25 ticket to get that something for nothing. Like, it's not enough value for them.
Yeah, they're rarely going to the movie theater to begin with because of that, and
those people that would see that as a deal, they're staying home and streaming. That's why we don't see dollar houses returning. That's why we're not seeing sub-run theaters and even move-over theaters not working right now, is because that level of customer is staying home with streaming. You need to appeal to the higher end customer that wants an experience outside the home and has the means to have that event experience.
Yeah. So that's why you should focus. I think that's why you should focus more on, the experience of the surroundings of the theater rather than worrying about how unlimited a certain something can be.
Right.
Me personally, but.
All right. We got anything else this week?
Yeah. Just one more little tidbit of news. Kyle found that article about Universal talking about Christopher Nolan coming on board, and they're going to honor his 100-day window.
Yeah.
Which is more than the 90. I'm surprised the article said 100-day window.
Yeah, I don't know. Maybe it was Nolan being like, you know what, make it 100. And then they're like, all right. That's the best we're going to do.
But they're going to honor it, which I assumed that was a prerequisite for him even jumping ship from any other studio.
Yeah, this is a well done take, Kyle, because anytime a filmmaker of his stature makes a request, they just say, yes, whatever you want.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
This we're used to.
And then in that article, they talked about how Universal doesn't want to do a lot of day and date releases and how they don't think that they're going to do any more, quote, stunt releases like what they're doing with Halloween and what they did with Boss Baby.
Where they just threw it at us.
Threw it at Peacock on the last second and was like, this will work.
Mm-hmm.
So I guess that's all good news. But, you know, they're going to be like how Disney and all these other studio streaming services are going to be, is they're going to take content away from theaters. You're never going to see it ahead of time now it's in the development phase. There'll be some content, very little, that they're going to develop for theaters, and a whole lot more bulk content that they have to put on streaming. And they need that theatrical content to anchor what they're doing on the streaming. But a lot of those films that they had that maybe would have been in theaters, maybe small releases, maybe low expectation films, right to streaming now. And it's just a filtering process.
Yeah. Still disappointing that content's being taken away, but I hope that they stick to their word about not doing stunting anymore, because we already understand at this point that the content's probably going to be taken away from us more than we'd like, but we also just don't want to be lied to. Like, just tell us way in advance what's going to be for streaming, what's not going to be for streaming. So we don't
waste our time promoting it, because theaters do promote it.
Exactly.
And it's not fair for them to promote something that they're not actually going to show in the theater.
Yeah, that's mainly the silver lining in all of this, is that it seems like they're going to try and avoid that. Hopefully that sticks. Yeah. But I think right now that's just what we should hope for, is that they're upfront about what goes where, instead of playing this juggling act of, oh, I don't know, maybe it's day and date, maybe it's not, and that's just what we need right now at this point.
Well, and they did say windows are getting shorter. They are really going to stick probably to their 3-week window.
I think so.
They didn't say 3-week window, but they did say windowing is going to be shorter moving forward. Well, we all know that, Universal. It's how much shorter is. I don't think 21 days serves anybody very well, and it doesn't serve them very well at all. I really think a 30-day window should be the minimum.
Minimum,
feel like after 30 days, after about a month, you expect it to be on streaming by then as a consumer. I think cutting it off at 21 days just makes no sense to anybody, or 17 days makes no sense.
I'm a little surprised that they haven't declared that they would do like 30-day at minimum. I just assume between their experiments and seeing how HBO Max has done with their day and dating, because I think with them it's pretty much free on their streaming service for the first 30 days, but then it gets taken off while the theatrical run continues. And clearly that just doesn't work. So
that doesn't work either.
I'm very surprised that they're still wanting to experiment with that, rather than say it looks like 30-day minimum would be the best to do.
I think about
later,
five weekends is what you should be able to have, and then and if it was just industry standard, then consumers would get used to that behavior, and then they would still preserve the event like feeling of the films. Yeah, the legitimacy of it being in the theater, but they get it quicker, and then they get through the pipeline quicker. But you get all the benefits of having it have had a theatrical run, and there's still meat on the bone for the theaters. It just makes a lot more sense at the 30-day mark.
More steak references. I love it.
I'm hungry. It's lunchtime. So we got some trailers and then a wrap-up time. So what do we got for trailers, Kyle?
We got Resident Evil, Welcome to Raccoon City. The 355 debuted a new trailer because it's getting close to its release date of January 7th.
I was going to say, it's like January all of a sudden.
Yeah, exactly.
Well, Universal only has one release after Halloween. They have Sing 2.
That's true.
And then they have that. So they've got to get their next film out there.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's
right. Although you're not going to put the 355 trailer on Sing 2, so
it's got to play with
It's
Halloween.
got to play on Halloween. That's why we're getting it.
Yeah, and then a musical from United Artists. I believe you pronounce it Cyrano de Bergerac. Gesundheit.
Yeah. But it looked good. I'll start with that one. Okay. I don't like musicals. I have said that a lot on this podcast. I think it's like, not surprised Dear Evan Hansen didn't do very well, but I'm just not into musicals. This one got me a little bit. This was like, oh no, am I going to watch a musical? Because
am I going to like it?
I loved Peter Dinklage in it so much. He's so good. And then I realized I have never really seen Peter Dinklage in a movie because I don't watch Game of Thrones. And
yes,
the last one
that's the only thing he's ever done.
I know,
Cody.
but the last one I watched, I would have seen him in as Elf.
But
so
hey, he was great in Elf.
So great.
Fantastic.
But I haven't seen him in anything past that, so I was like, so it just piqued my interest a lot more.
This trailer killed at CinemaCon. Like, it was really great.
You were also the
there.
youngest person in the room by
But even still, like, it seemed
a couple
like
of decades.
just a bit. I don't want to be too mean.
Yeah.
But
let's not pigeonhole anybody that goes to CinemaCon as
exactly.
being old.
Come on now. But no, I was really swept away by it, and it seemed like everyone else did too. So I don't know. Maybe there's I think it has a expanded release to it.
A platform release.
Platform release. Thank you. I lost the word there, but I don't know. Maybe there could be life with that.
I just think UA is gonna have a hard time after Bond. I think people gave him a lot more credit and dealt with him because of Bond. And once Bond is out and stuff, what do they have? I mean, they will have product, but they're not going to be super high on everybody's lists.
No, probably not.
But this did
wishful thinking.
But this did look good.
Yeah. Resident Evil Raccoon City, or what's it called? Welcome to Raccoon City. I don't know what's happening. I just know it's a zombie movie, and it's weird that it's in Thanksgiving, but maybe it'll be fine there. I don't know.
That's my take on it too. I've never seen a Resident Evil movie. I've never played the video game. Not my cup of tea. Too scary. I don't do zombies. I think zombies are stupid.
Sure.
So I was like, what is going on? Who's this character? I thought it was Mila Jovovich. So I'm very confused on what this is. But I mean, if it didn't have Resident Evil and it was just a zombie movie, looked pretty good. I think the zombies look decent and the makeup looks great on them. They don't look too campy or tacky. They look really scary, and they mix the real life makeup effects zombies with digital ones, and I liked that. But I hate that it's at Thanksgiving because Thanksgiving into Christmas, like that's I don't want to play a zombie movie at that time.
I mean,
this Resident Evil looks like a perfect January title to me.
Yeah, I think it would have made more sense with January. I think it's only for a certain demographic.
And I'm gonna play it.
So yeah, I mean, you have to, but
I'm not expecting a lot out of it.
Yeah, I think at least on its opening weekend, you could see a good fan base showing up for it.
I mean, it's Sony. We will have Ghostbusters. That'll definitely be our priority.
Mm-hmm.
I kind of want to just put it out there. This one you could flag for being moved, Sony. If you need to mess with any more release dates, because we know you like doing that.
Yeah.
Let's take a look at Resident Evil on
just
this.
Just their 2 cents.
We're talking about Disney putting all these films in. Sony has 2 movies in 5 days.
Right. and then they have Journal for Jordan and Spider-Man at Christmas.
Yeah. Also, like within
I forgot about that.
5-day release.
Yeah.
We'll make it work.
Well,
but
I'll find the screen and make it work.
Screens, but
we have to build one outside.
Yeah.
Just suggested it to you. And then for the 355 trailer, I don't know. I thought it looked cool. I don't know if it's worrisome that it's a January release because everything's so weird with release schedules yet.
Right.
So maybe it is actually a good movie, and Universal just saw that January is kind of wide open for the taking.
Female special agents.
Yeah, they're all across the globe. They come together. You know,
I'm a little concerned about that audiences are just over that kind of trope.
Well, the new Charlie's Angels blew away box offices, didn't it?
It blew, but
well,
actually, it wasn't that bad.
Protégé didn't do great from Lionsgate.
No,
I mean, I'm a little concerned about it, and I'm not surprised it's in January. Although the trailer looks great, it just
it looks really,
we haven't had a lot of track records for success for these films.
Unfortunately, female secret agent type films just haven't really caught on, or audiences are over it.
I'll be positive in saying it's from Universal. They have the marketing dollars. They know how to market. And in this trailer, at least, I don't see anything to where it looks bad, and it looks clever in some regards. But you're right, though. It's just when it comes to these types of movies, usually they don't do well. Just hope this is the exception.
Yep.
And we got a 19th trailer for Dune? 20th trailer?
Is this the one where the big worms and they ride the worms?
I feel like I've seen that in most of their marketing now, so
Right.
I'm not sure. The
It's
trailer,
all blurring together.
it was just as good as the last one. It's just 2 weeks before it's released, so it's just the final.
Just a little oomph at the end.
Yeah, exactly. And I think the marketing's been pretty good. It's just a matter of the sci-fi genre. We've been saying that for a while. We're kind of
Yeah.
concerned.
Yep.
Plus, it's a day-and-day movie, so
Plus,
we just don't know.
Timothy Chalamet is not a lead actor. Sorry. Sorry, Kyle. I don't even know how he has the strength to pick up a sword, and let alone spar with Jason Momoa. None of it is believable.
Well,
Jimothy Cabernet he looks like a fart in the wind.
He does.
I mean,
I don't want to body shame anybody, but there's got to be a certain look to a character to
when
make you believe
when
that
you-
this character can
Sure.
accomplish
W-
these
sure.
things.
when you describe an actor who's in an action fantasy film, the word
The granddaddy of all sci-fi films.
you should never use the word frail.
Yeah.
And that's the first word I think about when I look at him.
Me too. Sickly, maybe?
Sickly would be a good one too.
Malnourished.
I just hope the movie's good.
Yep. Us too.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right. Well, that's it for this episode. Thank you, everyone, for listening. Be sure to what am I trying to do right now? I don't have my script in front of me.
After all this time, you need the script
Yeah,
still?
I know. All of a sudden, you really got me with that Chalamet talk. I don't know.
We threw Kyle at the end.
Threw me for a loop. What do I do
Shimalama
now?
ding dong.
But I think you guys know what to do. Follow us on all podcast platforms and over at SilverScreenInsider.com. If you need marketing assets for all of your social media promotions of your upcoming releases, we have everything available for you at that website.
Check it out. And we just wanted to give everybody a heads up. We are updating our film frames, so be looking for that. Starting in November, we're going to have a lot more information on them, demographic, marketing information. So
Yeah.
we're constantly looking at parts of the site to update, and Film Frames is next. So if you've never checked out Film Frames, starting with Eternals, check out the new format. We're getting a lot more target marketing demographic information from the studios, so it's going to be good.
Yeah, they'll be coming real soon, so keep an eye out.
Yeah, you can target all that marketing dollars to the right groups of people.
Yeah.
Now.
There we
Big
go.
grosses, everybody.
Yep.
Big October.
Yep.
All right. Bye.
Good luck with Bond.